Representative Chakwocha, yes. Representative Neal? Yes. Representative Burns?
Yes.
Representative Heffernan? Yes. Representative Johnson? Yes. Representative Morrison? Representative Ross Levin?
Yes.
Representative Snyder Hall? Yes. Representative K. Smith? Yes. Representative Jones-Giltner? Representative Hilowski? Representative Postles? Yes. Representative Michael Smith? Yes. Having received the required number of votes, the motion carries and will be presented from our committee to the full body for consideration. We will now move to our last agenda item, House Bill 332, House Bill 32, an act to amend Title 16 of the Delaware Code relating to kratom. I've been saying this word 100 times every week, but sponsored by Ross Levin. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. And it took me a while, but it's kratom.
Kratom.
Just for everyone. So I will just go over what the bill does fairly quickly. We do have a lot of people here today who want to give public comment, so I want to make sure they have the chance to do so. So what this bill is really a common sense bill that creates basic safety rules, clear labeling, and youth protection while still allowing adults to access this product. Kratom is 24 states and DC regulate kratom or its components in some way. 6 states completely ban it. 18 states regulate the possession, sale, and manufacture. 7 states set the minimum age of 18, and 11 states require purchasers to be 21. In my approach to this bill was really to, just look at what is the most common sense public policy method for us to move forward. Fairly recently, Rhode Island had done a full ban of kratom and then had to reverse it to do what we're proposing here. So what the bill does is it defines kratom and who sells it. It also requires honest labeling. It bans dangerous products, so you can't mix kratom with other substances that are dangerous. It protects young people, so no sales to anyone under 21. You also can't do things that are similar with cigarettes in terms of advertising, like cartoons, video games, youth-oriented branding. And it creates penalties and accountability. And it supports enforcement and data collection. So the one, I'm going to proactively try to answer a few questions because I know we're time sensitive. So is this banning kratom? No, this bill does not ban kratom. The bill is regulating with some common sense guardrails to make it safer. Why regulate kratom instead of banning it? Some adults already use kratom and report benefits to themselves. Without regulation, products may be unsafe or mislabeled. This bill focuses on harm reduction and consumer safety. Why age 21? We just wanted to do what we already do for alcohol and tobacco laws. This bill is aimed to help reduce early exposure to potentially addictive substances. Why limit certain compounds in kratom? Research shows some compounds act like strong opioids. Higher levels may increase risk of harm instead of the natural compound. The limit on the differing compounds helps reduce overdose and dependency risk. Why require kratom to be accurately labeled? Consumers deserve to know what they're taking. This helps prevent accidental misuse and adds transparency for consumers. So what is this bill trying to solve? This bill helps regulate potentially unsafe and contaminated products. These products are largely sold at gas stations, and the lack of consumer information, youth access to a potentially harmful substance. This bill is supported by the American Kratom Association, the Ability Network of Delaware, Attack Addiction Delaware, and the Department of Justice did not have any concerns for this bill. We did receive some late feedback from the Delaware Alcohol and Tobacco Enforcement, so we have committed to working with them. They had some feedback on enforcement. And so, I commit to working with them. We received that yesterday. So unfortunately, it's not integrated into this draft, but we are happy to work with them, and we are in the process of setting up a meeting to do so. And we also received some technical feedback from the American Kratom Association, which we are also committed to working with. And I do have a expert, Mac Haddow, who's here in person to take any technical questions, and I'm open to any questions at this time.
Thank you. Representative Heffernan?
Thank you. I see in the bill, it talks about, the testing, but how would you know, like, is there any testing that's going to be done in Delaware, or how do you know that the testing, they're just not going to write what information they want on the product? Like, how will you assure that the testing is done, by a certified lab and stuff like that?
So that is something that DATE reached out to us yesterday with, and they want to work out an amendment on that very point. So thank you for bringing that up, and we're committed to working with them on the testing issue. I think with every bill, we try to make it so that it's least costly as possible, but there's obviously a middle ground there. And so that was a concern that DATE brought up as well. So we are going to work with them on an amendment around the testing.
Okay, because that without like an actual, like, just people, can write whatever they want on there, and it concerns me, that concerns me, until I would see that.
Thank you. Any additional questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, I will ask staff to begin collect public comment from those physically present.
First up is Adam Spiv, followed by Robert Downs.
Please identify yourself. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adam. Thank you to the sponsors of this bill, and thank you to members of the committee for allowing me to speak. I am here in strong support of HB 332. I've lived in Delaware my whole life. 10 years ago, I used Kratom for the first time, and since then, I have not touched a single drink or drug. It saved my life. 8 years ago, I decided to start a company offering Kratom products. We have served thousands of consumers. Delaware has never had any proper regulations for this industry, but we have always operated as if we did by using other state guidelines. This is a great bill. It protects freedom for adults to make their own decisions about their well-being while also holding businesses accountable. If you're in this industry, you should be held to a higher standard, and if you can't meet that standard, then you shouldn't be in business. I think it's also important that we separate natural pure leaf Kratom from dangerous synthetic products being deceptively sold under the same name. These products are not the same, and they are where the real risk lies and should not be available to purchase. Millions of Americans rely on Kratom, many in Delaware. These are hardworking, everyday people. They are not dollar signs, and they deserve to be protected from industry bad actors. Please do what many other states have done and vote favorably on this regulation bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Downs, followed by Mac Haddow.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Downs. I'm a resident of Lewis, Delaware, and today I'm asking for your support of HB 332. I've been using Kratom for about 10 years, and in my experience, it has significantly improved the quality of my life and my ability to function on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, it's important to me that Kratom be made legally available to adults while also being kept safe for consumers. Over the years, product quality has varied. I once used a product labeled as Kratom that appeared normal, but it made me sick, which is why I support reasonable consumer protections. I believe HB 332 takes a practical approach. It targets contaminated and adulterated products, prohibits synthetic alkaloids, requires labeling of metrogene and 7-hydroxymetrogene content, and limits 7-hydroxymetrogenine to 2% of the alkaloid composition.
Thank you.
It prohibits sales and marketing to those under 21. Those are sensible safeguards that would help protect consumers without banning kratom outright.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I ran out. I was just going to, if I finish real quick. Reputable vendors already aim to provide clean, accurately labeled, unadulterated products. Additionally, many reputable vendors use independent third-party laboratories to test their products. Consumers should be able to expect that as a baseline, not as an exception. I strongly support HB 332 because it helps ensure that products sold as kratom are honestly represented and safer for Delaware consumers. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt Caddo. Chris Delaney is after.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Matt Caddo with the American Kratom Association. We are strongly supporting this bill. There are two components to it that are critically important. One is to establish standards for natural leaf kratom products, which have been found by the FDA in a study that was done last year and published this year that indicated that it is safe at all dose levels as a natural leaf kratom product and for extracts that use appropriate FDA-approved food-grade. Other products should be off the market. The second part of this are those dangerous synthetics. I have in my hand here sublingual strips. If you take these, it is a powerfully enhanced product. It is not kratom, and it is a opioid, as described by Commissioner McCary. This is another example of a product. It's called 7-0 Heaven. It dissolves in your mouth, hits your opioid receptors, goes to your bloodstream, and it gives you euphoric high immediately. It is marketed as kratom. Another example is 7 ohms, an advanced kratom alkaloid. This bill will ban these products, and they should. It is not a kratom product, and the FDA has taken steps to recommend that the DEA schedule these products, synthetically derived 7-hydroxymetrogenine, and its other synthetic alkaloids that are follow-ons, be scheduled as Schedule I substances. Kratom, in its natural form, benefits people, and it needs to be regulated to be safely produced, tested properly, has been brought up, and make sure that the products are available to consumers are safe for their use. We strongly urge your support for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Following Chris is Arlette Pippin.
Hi, my name is Christopher Deeney. I actually live right over the bridge in Carneys Point, Salem County. My wife worked for Christiana for 20 years, so very familiar with Delaware. I love the whole health system. I had an accident when I was 8 years old. I was hit by a car. That accident kind of changed the course of my life. I was dependent on different painkillers over my life, looking for just different ways to kind of help myself naturally. In 2015, I stumbled across kratom tea. And I made a cup of kratom tea, and when I had that accident at 8 years old, it didn't just break my legs. I had a head injury as well. Kind of mimics like an autism a little bit, maybe an ADHD. When I made the cup of kratom tea, it just improved my focus. It helped relieve my tension a little bit, and I was just blown away, and it really made me think, like, what is this plant? So I spent years really researching this plant and understanding it, and it's been used traditionally for hundreds of years in Southeast Asia. They brewed into a tea, and it's used as part of a daily ritual. And that's the way I've been using it for 11 years. I was so blown away by the plant, I actually started a company. We run a traditional plant-based kratom company in Salem County, which does batch release testing. And all that testing is available online before you even purchase. So you know what you're buying. So we support this bill. This is very important to protect consumers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Arlette Pippin, and finally Venus Usher.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am here to support Bill HB 332, plain leaf kratom. Many years ago, my daughter survived a botched surgery and then was, thank you, subscribed painkillers that we knew would cause another problem of dependency. We did not want that. Then we found plain leaf kratom, which I did plenty of research on. I'm very protective of my children. She drinks it in tea form. You cannot overdose. The only thing that will happen is that you get sick to your stomach and you upchuck. So I do support that. Okay. It won't make you high, unable to function. Quite the contrary. She lives a full life now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Venus Usher.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Venus Usher, and I've been living with severe chronic pain for nearly 3 decades. For many years, I not only struggled with the pain itself, but also with being misunderstood. I was made to feel like my pain wasn't real or that I was simply seeking medication, but that was never my goal. My goal was to be on nothing at all. I just wanted to feel better and be able to live my life. After trying many different treatments without success, I found relief about 9 years ago through plain leaf kratom tea. What matters most is how it helped me live. I was not sedated or impaired. I was clear, present, and able to function. I could say yes to life again. Because of that, I strongly support a regulatory approach such as Delaware House Bill 332. Safety standards and age restrictions make sense. A complete ban does not. I'm asking you to choose regulation over prohibition so people like me can continue to live a life with stability and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is the end of in-person public comment.
Can we now move to online public comment?
If you wish to comment on House Bill 332, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. Each member of the public will be addressed in a sequence in which their hand is raised. Up first, Susan Eppert. You will have 1 minute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Susan Eppert, and I don't support this bill as it puts Delaware's government stamp of approval on a highly addictive drug, causing consumers to falsely believe that it's a safe drug. My 22-year-old son, Matthew, died from natural whole leaf kratom powder, the least potent form of kratom available in the United States. Kratom caused him to have a seizure, go into cardiac arrest, and die on his kitchen floor in front of his girlfriend, who was completely devastated by this and living for the rest of her life. His toxicology showed he died from the toxic effects of metragine, an alkaloid found only in kratom. He had no prescription drugs, no street drugs, nor alcohol in his system when he died, and his autopsy showed he had no underlying health conditions. And it's very important to note he did not die from 7-OH, 7-hydroxymetragine, nor any semi-synthetic nor synthetic kratom, as they were not available in 2021 when he died. And the majority of people who have died from kratom were over 21 years old. Throughout the United States, children of all ages have been using kratom regardless of age gating, and the FDA warns people against using this dangerous drug.
That's
Please
time.
visit-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, Jordan Richard.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jordan Richard. I'm a former heroin addict whose life was saved by kratom. I'm also the author of one of the most widely read books on kratom. I've traveled across the country and internationally, interviewing leading experts, researchers, and policymakers on kratom. I've been featured in national publications like the LA Times for my work on kratom, and I'm here to strongly support House Bill 332. I'm very sorry for anyone who ever thinks they lost a child from kratom. If you Google, has anyone ever died from kratom in Southeast Asia, you'll see the answer is 0. Millions of people have used it, going back 1,000 years to the diatribe. I support regulation because products are being sold as kratom that are not at all. These are synthetic, highly concentrated compounds being marketed under the same natural plant, creating massive confusion for consumers. Researchers at Johns Hopkins have found that natural kratom has a relatively low potential for abuse, but these synthetic products are entirely different. Approximately 20 to 24 million Americans use kratom. Many of them are college-educated women managing chronic pain. HB 332 fixes that. It sets standards, protects consumers, and creates a clear line between natural kratom leaf and synthetic compounds that should not be sold as kratom. Also, you can have QR testing on the back of the labeling.
Thank you.
Also, too, the head of the FDA said that.
Oh. Up next for virtual public comment, Catherine Gibson.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, sorry, I'm at work and I may or may not have people walk in and out. I'm going to read very quickly. 10 years ago, my husband and I were both dependent on the methadone clinic. We sought help using our own free will at the clinic, not because of any court order or reasons aside from us just wanting to get better and do better with our life. And I want to be honest what my experience in that clinic looked like. At 2 separate clinics, I witnessed patients have their doses withheld. I witnessed pregnant mothers forced to skip doses, resulting in miscarriages and bleeding. My doses were skipped and my insurance was still billed. And these are the systems that without kratom, people looking for sobriety are forced to go into. I also want to quickly talk about the dangers of misinformation. I personally know somebody who was an alcoholic. I thought that maybe kratom could help him with his alcoholism. Gave him some kratom to try. It didn't. He still had his alcoholic craving and then went and drank gasoline. Ended up in the hospital in a coma, and the medical staff said it was the kratom that put him in the coma, and it had nothing to do with him drinking gasoline.
That's time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Up next, Michael Fasano.
Hello, my name is Michael Fasano. I've been a kratom consumer of the tea for over 15 years. I consume it for chronic insomnia, joint pains, ADHD. I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm productive, I'm functional. I want to totally commend you for imposing this legislation. I think regulation is the more appropriate approach rather than what other states are doing with criminalization of people that are suffering in chronic pain and PTSD. I strongly urge you to pass this bill, impose the regulation, and ensure that people are doing it the right way, enforce it. And anyone that, violates any of those bills should be penalized to the fullest extent. So I want to commend you for this. I really hope other states would follow, and I really hope you would do the regulation, the quality stuff, the age restrictions, and then please enforce this regulation. And thank you for having me the time to speak to you. Thank you.
Up next, Dominica Persanti.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dominica Persanti, and I am the CEO of Impact Life. We are a statewide organization providing prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery support services to thousands of Delawareans each year. We are in full support of the bill. We believe that as an organization who we bring decades of experience in harm reduction, we've seen firsthand what works and what doesn't. Policies that are traditionally rooted in criminalization will increase stigma, barriers to care, and they ultimately do more harm than good. This bill takes a different approach, one that's grounded in public health, and we commend that. It prioritizes consumer protections, restricts access to those 21 and older, and then requires accurate labeling, and holds retailers accountable. This is practical, evidence-informed measures, and they align with harm reduction principles, which will ultimately keep people safer. We also recognize that the data around kratom is still evolving, which is why regulation, not criminalization, is the right approach. It allows us to monitor, educate, and respond appropriately as we learn more.
That's time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Dylan Smith.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Dylan. I'm a father, a New England resident, and an advocate for natural health and medicine. I have friends and family in Delaware, and I care about the state and those who live there. In 2016, I entered recovery from alcohol and prescription drugs, including benzodiazepines like Xanax and Klonopin, and stimulants like Adderall and Ritalin, all legally prescribed. I understand sobriety, and I know the difference between something medicinal and something destructive. No other substance has been more beneficial in my 15 years of treatment than Kratom Leaf has been. It supports my recovery and improves my mental health and discomfort without making me intoxicated, something that is so important to me. Before discovering whole leaf kratom powder, I also dealt with a host of debilitating health issues. In 2018, I was diagnosed with neuroborreliosis, which is an infection that affects the brain and nervous system from Lyme's disease. I suffered for over 10 years with crippling pain, fatigue, anxiety, depression, insomnia, and digestive distress. My condition became so severe that I was hospitalized for over a month and placed on disability. I was unable to work to support myself or my family, and I recently have returned to work in largest part due to Kratom's role in helping manage my complex health issues. If I lost access to whole leaf Kratom, it would severely impact my ability to function as a father and community member, and I really support this bill and the regulatory framework you guys have laid out. I think you did a great job. Thank you so much for your time.
Up next, John Shinholzer. Up next, John Shinholzer. We'll come back to Mr. Shinholzer. Up next, Evan Fisher. Up next, Evan Fisher. Up next, Dawn Avelis. Dawn Avelis. Up next, Misty Brown.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Misty Brown, and I am a recovered addict. I found whole leaf kratom in 2019. I now utilize it for my chronic pain. I am here to support HB 332, keep whole leaf kratom legal, ban 7-OH and its derivatives, and I yield my time to the next testifier.
Up next, Parker Flower.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Sorry, I don't know what was going on. All right, my name is Parker Flowers, and I'm here representing myself in support of HB 332. I support thoughtful regulation because standards are what separate a safe, transparent product from a dangerous one. Without clear rules like testing, requirements, labeling, and age restrictions, consumers are left guessing. They don't know what they're taking, how strong it is, or whether it's been contaminated, and that's where real risk exists. I've seen firsthand how kratom can help people. Members of my own family have used it as a tool to move far away from dangerous substances being used to rebuild their lives. But that only works when the product is consistent and responsibly produced. That's why this matters. Banning doesn't eliminate demand, it removes oversight. It pushes people towards unregulated markets where there are no standards, no accountability, and far greater risk. And when we talk about public health, I think perspective matters. A quick look at CDC data would show you that cigarettes are associated with 480,000 deaths each year in the United States, and alcohol with 178,000. By comparison, reports involving kratom are significantly lower and often involve multiple substances, not kratom alone. The FDA even released a statement stating that they can't find a lethal dose of kratom. With that, I think it's very important for us to protect our consumers, set standards, and don't take away something that is helping people rebuild their lives. We've seen what prohibition does.
Thank you. Up next, Laura Romney.
Hello, can you hear me? Great. Good afternoon, Chairman and committee members. My name is Laura Romney. I'm a 55-year-old mom, grandma, and sadly a chronic pain patient of 14 years. I'm asking you to support House Bill 332. I suffer from a severe facial nerve disease called atypical trigeminal neuralgia, which is often called the suicide disease. I found natural kratom and my life changed. I was instantly able to discontinue my daily opiate prescription, and it helped me feel normal, not altered in any way. I'm not alone. There are thousands of people in Delaware, especially with today's restrictive pain management environment, that have turned to natural leaf kratom to relieve their pain, anxiety, PTSD, and as a harm reduction tool. It's truly a miracle plant. But then synthetic products like 7-OH entered the market 2.5 years ago. These are the products associated with severe withdrawal addiction and even death. Just recently, there's been a lot of media attention over poison control calls that have increased a rapid amount. If you look at the graph, you will actually notice that the spike in these calls perfectly coincided with the introduction of 7-OH into the market. These statistics also do not account for polydrug use, and they do not separate out the products if they were natural leaf or 7-OH.
That is time. Thank you. Up next, Jennifer Gillis.
Hi, yes. My name is Jennifer Gillis, and 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with transverse myelitis, and I became a lifelong chronic pain patient. For years, I relied upon prescription medications just to get by daily. However, through no fault of my own, I lost access to those medications, and my quality of life deteriorated greatly. For many years, I struggled with just life. That changed in 2019 when I found whole leaf kratom. Because of kratom, I can get out of bed, run errands, attend school functions, and live a somewhat normal life despite my physical limitations. My story is not unique, and for many of us, kratom is a lifeline, providing pain relief without the mental impairment commonly associated with traditional opioids. I hope that you'll support regulations, specifically with regulating whole leaf kratom, while restricting the highly concentrated, problematic 7-OH products being falsely marketed as kratom, and keep natural kratom products legal, safe, and available as a tool for responsible adults like me, and using them at a chance to have a better quality of life. Thank you so much for your time.
Up next, Sean Zamorano.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Sean Zamorano, and I've been a kratom consumer for 10 years now, and I'm a United States Navy veteran. Sorry about that. I just want to speak on what I've seen in the last 10 years. When I first came into this space in 2015 and purchased my first bag of kratom, there were no labeling on it. A lot of them came in Ziploc bags with magic marker written on them. Slowly but surely, I've seen the good intentioned vendors come up to standard, and I believe that this bill will take the good intentioned people and get them all on the same page, and hopefully we can put the people who are putting the 7-OH on the streets on notice. 7-OH has pretty much destroyed everything that we've worked for the past 10 years, and putting bills like this into place is really going to save the consumer and help to educate them and make good decisions. Thank you very much.
Up next, Tracy Hudson.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tracy Hudson, and I'm both a small business owner and someone whose life was changed by kratom. After the birth of my daughter, I experienced severe postpartum anxiety. It became so debilitating that I was afraid to drive my car, afraid to fall asleep, and began becoming afraid to leave my home. And the medications I was prescribed, including highly addictive ones like Xanax, did not help me regain control of my life. Kratom did. It gave me relief, clarity, and the ability to be the mother my daughter needed. And because of that, today I own a retail store that sells Kratom. With that comes a deep responsibility. I only carry products that are lab tested, clearly labeled, and sourced from reputable vendors. I support age restrictions, product testing, and consumer protections because I've seen firsthand how important safety and quality are. That's why I support HB 332. This is not a ban, it's smart regulation. It protects consumers, keeps unsafe products off the market, and allows responsible businesses like mine to continue serving people who rely on Kratom. Please don't take this option away from people who need it. Pass HB 332 and ensure Kratom remains safe, accessible, and properly regulated. Thank you.
Up next is Susan.
Yes, hey, my name's Susan Cave. I'm the mother of William Cave. He was 32 years old when he died from raw leaf kratom in 2024. He was healthy, he worked hard, had no history of addiction or drug use or abuse. William took kratom to help with his anxiety and depression. I was told that it was raw leaf kratom was safe, natural, and a benign supplement to help with this problem that he had, this anxiety and depression that he had. He consumed kratom raw leaf for less than a year, and all of a sudden he realized he couldn't stop taking it because he was dependent on it. He tried he took it for about 4 years before it finally killed him. Now what killed him was mixing his kratom, which he thought was safe, with his prescribed antidepressants, which were Prozac and Celesta. So when you talk about polysubstance deaths, yes, that's true, but don't forget that polysubstance can include prescription medication prescribed by a doctor. Now, if raw leaf kratom bans had existed earlier, William would probably still be here. Now, it makes absolutely no common sense to me why you would ban 7-OH and leave the source of 7-OH on the shelf, which is kratom. 7-OH.
That's time. Thank you.
Is that it? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Up next, Wendy Chamberlain. Wendy Chamberlain. We'll go to Benjamin Eggert. Benjamin Eggert.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Eggert, and I'm a 43-year-old father of 5. I suffer from degenerative disc disease in my spine and spinal stenosis, a degenerative condition that narrows the spaces within the spine, putting dangerous pressure on the nerves and spinal cord. Every single day, it causes searing pain that shoots through my arms, legs, and back. For years, I struggled just to get out of bed and be the dad and husband my family deserves. Then I found plain leaf kratom. It doesn't just mask the pain, it actually lets me move, work, play with my kids, and live a full life again with my wife and children. It's been a game changer. Kratom has a long, documented history of safe and responsible use by millions of Americans. I'm not here to defend synthetic 7-O extracts or any of the dangerous lab-made derivatives put in the market. These products prey on addicts and unsuspecting citizens, and they need to be banned immediately. Please do not punish responsible adults like me. Please keep plain leaf kratom legal and available. It's medicine that gives many their life back. Please support HB 332 as I do. You can also go to kratomindex.com. It indexes over 1,200 peer-reviewed research papers pulled straight from PubMed. Thank you.
That concludes virtual public comment for House Bill 332. We'd like to remind people that they can submit their public comment virtually at people can submit their public comment virtually. Thank you.
Motion to release by Representative Snyder Hall, seconded by Representative Burns. I will now take roll call, whatever. I'm tired. You have a question, Representative Heffernan?
I just want to make sure that some of the comments that we've brought up, like about the testing and about the regulations that that our sponsor, Representative Ross-Levin, will take those into account before this would come to the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. We just heard back from DATE yesterday, and so we are committed to working with them on their suggested changes.
Thank you. Representative Jaquocha, absent. Representative Neal, yes. Representative Burns?
Yes.
Representative Harris, absent. Representative Heffernan? Representative Johnson, absent. Representative Morrison? Representative Ross-Levin?
Yes.
Representative K. Smith? Representative Snyder Hall? Representative Jones-Giltner? Representative Hensley, absent. Representative Halosky? Representative Postles?
Yes.
Representative Shute, absent. Representative Michael Smith? Having met all the votes, the motion carries. We will be offering the bill for signatures to the committee members not present. If it receives enough signatures for release from committee, it will be reported out on the legislative website and announced on the House floor during session. Members, please remember to come up and sign the bill backer. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, thanks, everyone.
That was cool. That was good.
I was all muted. And that's how you do it, folks. That's how you do it.
Ooh, look at this.
I know. We're all up in the screen.
Oh, look. I'm in your mouth.
Yeah, get out of my mouth. Oh, they don't see it on our end.
No. Oh, that's too funny. That was funny. Oh, that was a good hearing. That was a good hearing. All I'm gonna say is I think we're missing a couple people, I heard, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. You know, sorry, okay. We've been sitting on this stream for a long time before they got to the Kratom bill, and I forgot to turn the volume up. You know, so because whenever we sit on streams like this, Jen and I talk back and forth. So I turn the volume down when that happens because it's overstimulating if you don't. But yeah.
I know, Megan.
Sean did amazing, Megan.
Sean
did amazing.
He did. I was like, when they said 1 minute, I was like, oh, I got this. But then, like, when I start reading, I'm like, I gotta hurry.
I just hurried. I just yield.
Yeah.
Like I said, I yield my time to the next testifier. They skipped D, did they?
Yeah, they said her name, but I bet you she was having technical issues.
Oh.
I know somebody I can't remember who it was. It was her mic didn't work.
Oh, okay, D.
Oh,
Okay.
that's I hate it. I think it was Tracy the first time she ever did the Zoom. She had issues with trying to unmute it.
Mm-hmm.
And so she didn't get, and dude, that was one of the ones we sat for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
I felt so bad, but I mean, it's, when you first start doing it, you gotta show one more thing. Yeah, you got, like, let me tell y'all something. All these, anytime that you comment on anything positive, Kratom related, the haters are going to come and they're going to go to your account if you don't have them
Mhm.
blocked, and they are going to start reporting posts.
Yep.
and they are going to make sure that they get your account suspended or whatever. Ask Misty. Misty hadn't had her Facebook for a year.
Almost a year. Yep. I got banned in June last year, and I just lost my Instagram account on Saturday. So they're trying, our haters are trying to control the social media narrative now.
So anytime somebody comes on Facebook, they're going to see story after story after story that's bad because they done got us all kicked off Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what they're doing. That's their little program that they're following. I don't, I can't believe people act like this. Like, it just blows me away. I never report anybody. If I don't like
either.
you,
It's
I'm gonna
so
block
childish. Like, if I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to scroll on. But if I don't like what you're saying because, you're saying things about Kratom, I'm just going to block you. I've even been blocking the 708ers been coming up in my comments.